guys' taste doesn't really change when they age. Like, women typically want a guy that's older than them, but because age decreases attraction, there's a cap on it, right? But the other way around, there's not as much of a cap because as the guy ages, he still wants younger, but the younger he goes, it doesn't get less attractive. They get either more attractive or stay the same, right? Down to a certain point. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marv Over Matter, back with another video. And today what I'm going to talk about is why older men love younger women and why young women love older men, right? So this is coming from a comment that was left on one of my other videos. This girl was basically like, why do old men think that they have a chance with us young women? We don't like being approached by them. It's gross. I believe she referred to them as fossils. And it got quite a bit of a reaction from a lot of people, going back and forth. Some people saying, yes, young women love older men. Some people saying, no, they don't. They really, really don't. Guys chiming in saying, well, you know, these are the reasons why. They've always loved older men as far as history, you know, as far as we know throughout history. And there's a lot of back and forth. So I just thought that it would be very interesting to do a video on it. Now, I watch a lot of content on evolutionary psychology, and so I come across a lot of like the research that you know, psychologists and ecologists, I believe, do, and anthropologists and all these type of all the apologists. I see everything that they do, or a lot of what they do, and I do it partially to like back check what I'm saying, to make sure that what I'm saying actually lines up, it makes sense, and you know, most of the time it does, if not all the time. But in this situation with this particular topic, what the science says, or what the research says, is basically women do like older men, but when they have the choice of the age gap, they usually only pick like up to like 4 years older, right? So sometimes younger women will date somebody way older, but usually if that's like a trend, it's usually because there's poverty involved, right? So it's a choice of choosing the resources long term over the short term gratification of being with somebody who's physically attractive. That's typically, that's like what a lot of the evolutionary psychologists have been saying, is that it's because of poverty that will, you know, entice women to date older men, because they have resources, because older people just generally have, men specifically generally have more resources. So there was somebody who said that they were like, yeah, we like guys 2-3 years older than us, and that's true. It seems to be true. It seems to line up when women, like I said, when you account for poverty, it seems to line up that they only want guys that are a few years older, right? So that's what the science says. Now, let's get into real life, because science is one thing, but real life is another. And one thing that we're not really accounting for, or I didn't see anybody really accounting for, and maybe a couple people did, but it kind of got overshadowed in the back and forth between the comments, is that it depends on the man, right? It's not necessarily dependent on the age. Yes, older men are gonna lose some attraction, some physical attraction. Their skin's not gonna be as nice. They're not gonna have as, you know, defined muscles. Their face might start to sag a little bit. Like, these are things that come with age, but it's not about the age. It's about the features that they have, right? Because Chris Brown, Michael B. Jordan, Liam Hemsworth, they're all in their 30s, right? But there are girls in their early 20s who would like to date these guys. And it has nothing to do with their age, just because they look the way that they look. So some older guys are just going to look better, right? And if they're an attractive older guy, then the woman's still going to be like, okay, he's attractive. It's not a matter of like his age, you know. It's not his age that really matters. It's the fact that he's attractive, and the fact that the older you get, the more likely you are to be unattractive, right? So that's the distinction that I think people need to make, because if a guy is unattractive as an older man, the girl's not going to be interested in him. The girl's not going to be interested in him. But that same guy, if he was just unattractive his whole life, even when he was younger, the girl would still feel the same way if he approached. It's not about the fact that he aged. It's about the fact that he's not attractive to her, right? So I think that's the distinction that needs to be made. But there are, some women who just don't prioritize looks, and they might like the security of an older man, right? So that's another reason why a younger woman might like an older man. If she dates a lot of young men and she can't really lock them down, she can't really seem to, you know, get any type of commitment from them, get any type of long-term investment from them, then she might, be kind of discouraged from dating somebody in a younger age group and want to go older, because these guys are going to be more likely to want to settle down, because again, they're going to probably be on their way out of being attractive, and so they'll have less options, so they'll be more willing to settle down. So that's another reason why a younger woman might like an older man. And why older men like younger women, we all know, is because younger women are typically, just like younger men, but specifically younger women are typically seen as more attractive, and because they're going to be more fertile, right? So a guy who's older, who wants a family, he's not going to be able to have that with a woman that is in his age range. If he's like in his 40s, his 50s, he's not going to be able to meet a 40, 50-year-old woman that can give him children. So he's going to go younger, right? He's going to go to a woman who's in her mid to early 20s, because that's going to be the time when she's the most fertile. I mean, we look at Leo, right? Leo dates younger women because he's going to find them attractive, right? And every guy in that position who's in his 40s and 50s, if they could, would date younger women, and some of them try, right? And then these are the guys that you have approaching you. I mean, guys' taste doesn't really change when they age. Like, women typically want a guy that's older than them, but because age decreases attraction, there's a cap on it, right? But the other way around, there's not as much of a cap, because as the guy ages, he still wants younger, but the younger he goes, it doesn't get less attractive. They get either more attractive or stay the same, right? Down to a certain point. Then you cross over into something else. But yeah, down to like early 20s, that's gonna be probably the bottom for him. But if he's 70, that's gonna look crazy. It's a large gap, right? So that's the obvious reason why older men like younger women, because the girl did ask me why that happens, and it's because youth is associated with attractiveness, fertility, all these types of things. So it's just built into our brains to be attracted to it, right? Especially as men, because we're trying to like reproduce with somebody that seems to be fertile, seems to be healthy, seems to be all this, and a young woman is gonna have that and display that. Her physical body is gonna display that a lot more so than an older woman. So that's just the science of why it is. And like I said, same thing with guys. Younger guys are gonna be seen, guys in their 20s, 30s are going to be seen as more attractive than guys in their 50s and 60s, for the same reason, right? It's just that the resource issue comes into it with women, where they'll sacrifice looks for resources, and guys know that. So when an older guy has resources, he's going to try to use that to leverage and get the younger woman. And some guys don't have a problem with, like, because another thing that was said in the comments is, guys are being used. It's not genuine attraction, right? The women are not genuinely attracted to them. It's a sacrifice, like I said. It's a trade-off. Like, I want a secure life, so I'll give up being with a hot guy so I can have a secure life with this older man who I'm not as physically attracted to. But some of these guys know this, right? Some of these guys, they know this. The old, short, fat, bald dudes with the beautiful wives, they know that their wife is not with them because they're attractive. They know it, but they're okay with that. They're willing to sacrifice that. Right? Even some guys who are older, who maybe used to be attractive, are like, hey, I had my fun, I did my thing, but I still want an attractive wife, and I'm willing. And I've had women who were genuinely interested in me, right? I wasn't interested in them at the time because I had so many options. I didn't want to settle down. Now I do. I want my beautiful wife. I'm okay with her not being genuinely attracted to me. I'm okay with knowing that she's with me because I can take care of her. And I'm okay with that, because I've lived this life where I was attractive, and it's okay now, right? Some guys are going to think like that. Some guys are going to think, I was never attractive anyway, so I don't know what it feels like anyways. I might as well get the most good-looking girl I can, right? because even if I get with an ugly girl, she's not gonna think that I'm attractive. So what's the difference, right? I might as well just get the best looking girl I can if no girl's gonna like me for my looks. If I'm old and decrepit and all this type of stuff, I'm shooting for the top. I'm shooting for what I can get for. So that's the reason that these guys are going to be approaching younger women. But yeah, it's a natural thing that happens. And in most cultures, most societies, you know, throughout time, people have been impoverished. So it's like that has been a normal thing. Now, it probably wasn't attraction based, like I said, but it was out of necessity. And so it become part of our like culture for younger women to date older men. Another thing I wanted to say about that is there are some young women who are attracted to older men, though. Like I don't want to make it seem like that's not a thing. There are some young women who are attracted to older men because some women don't put such a price on looks, right? So they'll put a price on maturity and the way that a guy carries himself, and you know, an older guy is gonna have a more confident, self-assured, or at least I would expect him to have a more confident, self-assured way that he carries himself, because he's been through life, he's been through things, he has experience, right? He might be a good leader, he might have other qualities that are attractive, right, aside from the physical attraction. So that's another reason why younger women might want to be with an older man, because they'll feel like more protected in a emotional sense, right? They'll feel more, you know, this older guy's dealt with women, he's dealt with situations, he's dealt with life, and he can kind of bring her through that and guide her through that, you know, in a way that a younger man might not be able to. Not that he will not be able to, but he might not be able to. And if she's not caring about looks and she comes across this older guy who has his life together, who, you know, seems calm and settled down and all that, that might be attractive to her. Like attraction is not just physical. A big part of attraction is like a safety, especially for women. For women, it's a safety. They want to know, okay, if I'm investing in this guy, my time, my energy, my emotions, I'm going to get something out of it long term. I'm not going to have to just up and reinvest in somebody else, right? They naturally just want things to be more long term. Guys, a part of our attraction is looks, but a part of it is how easy is this going to be? How little investment can I put into this and reproduce? And that's just the evolutionary battle, right? The guys have typically been trying to get sex with as little investment as possible, and women have been trying to get investment with as little sex as possible. That's how it is for the most part amongst like the masses. Of course, you're gonna have guys who are very attractive, so the women want to have sex with them. Of course, you're gonna have, you know, women that are really solid, really lovely, so guys are gonna want to invest in them. All possibilities are true, but typically that's the battle between the two. So yeah, that's my take on older men loving younger women loving older men, or not loving older men, or loving older men that are only so much older than them, maybe a few years older than them. But that's essentially how the age gap works between men and women. All right, so that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Drop some more topics or some more observations or some more complaints in the comment section, and I'll do a video on them. I got my coaching calls in the description box, Instagram in the description box, and you know what it is. It's mind over matter, Marv over matter. Let's get it.